Just in case you haven't noticed, over the past few weeks, XRP has risen approximately 39%, in some cases a little bit higher. Now that, if you've been watching this channel and following the other people who've been covering the Ripple versus SEC case, largely believe that it was due to the fact that this case is coming to an end very shortly. However, there is some more transactions that were tracked to a completely different venue, and that is producing billions of dollars worth of XRP in trades in recent weeks. I'm going to tell you what it was actually traced to. And right along with that, we're going to be taking a look at Bitcoin, its price resistance levels, and if it looks like it's going to be breaking through this $30,000 resistance level that it is quickly coming up against. Now, of course, we have a backdrop of what's going on with the banking sector, and I'm going to tell you what Fed rate hikes and pivots might do to the price of cryptocurrencies and what the rest of the world is planning on doing with the US dollar. And finally, going to be taking a look at some of the timelines with the Ripple versus the SEC case, according to what John Deaton, who is heavily involved in this case, what it says about a potential timeline, the judge, and who may have inside information about what the judge is going to decide on XRP, on Ripple versus the SEC, and who doesn't. Hey everyone, my name is Randy. Welcome back to the Late Night Grind. Right now I'm covering the Ripple versus the SEC case, as well as other cryptocurrency news, investment markets, and personal finance. So if any or all these topics interest you, go ahead, hit that subscribe button, join the Late Night Grind community. If you do a couple of things, I'd appreciate it. Smash that thumbs up button, and of course, watch this video all the way to the end. Those are the two best things you can do to support a YouTube channel. So if you do that, I greatly appreciate it. Also, don't forget to hit that bell notification icon. That way, YouTube will send you a notification when I release a new video. So if you do that, I greatly appreciate it. All right, guys, let's jump into it. So Bitcoin and the rest of the crypto market have been following what the stock market has done, specifically the US stock market. It's been inverse to the US dollar, and for good reason. But nowadays, there are a lot of people speculating that what is going on globally could affect the price of Bitcoin more than anything else. One of those is the effects that the banking sector is having right now, meaning there is a lot of talk of insolvency. Many of the US banks are talking about being insolvent. Whether or not that's true or not, as some of it is largely made up, disinformation, FUD, whatever you want to call it, but some of it is absolutely true. So as we look at the banking consolidation, meaning the smaller banks going to get eaten up by the bigger banks, of course, being backed up by the US Treasury money printer. Well, what's going to happen with the US dollar? Well, they're doing everything they can to support the US dollar. Meanwhile, there's a lot of countries in the rest of the world that are rumored to be involved in what is known as Project Sandman. Now, what is Project Sandman? Well, the conspiracy theory now goes that there are many countries, many of the BRICS countries, including Russia, China, North Korea, Brazil, along with a whole host of other countries, are looking to ditch the US dollar as the world reserve currency. Project Sandman being the idea that all of these countries are going to coordinate and sell all of their United States Treasury bonds, which is basically the US debt that they're holding, and liquidate them all at once in an attempt to basically devalue the US dollar even further, crash the US stock market, crash the US economy, and of course, along with it, the crypto markets as the United States regulators have been trying to absolutely suppress and squash in a coordinated attempt. At least that's what it appears to be. But is that really going to happen? Because here's the thing. The crypto sector is largely global. Yes, the US has a ton of money tied up into it with venture capitals, with specific banks, along with other things, but globally, cryptocurrencies, specifically Bitcoin, is one of several that could potentially weather a US stock market crash or a US dollar crash. In fact, like I said in the beginning of this video, Bitcoin tends to go up when the US dollar's value is falling as a hedge against inflation or a safe haven or a store of value, whatever you want to call it. The crypto world is a little bit different than some of the other commodities that float in value of the US dollar. So while we have that going on, you have XRP and Bitcoin that have been climbing in value recently. Now XRP, like I said at the beginning of the video, a lot of people are now speculating that this case, Ripple versus the SEC, going to be wrapping up soon, going to be in favor of Ripple, but nobody really knows for sure. However, billions and billions of XRP, billions of dollars worth of XRP have been traded in recent weeks. And of course, many people were wondering, well, where exactly is that coming from? Because it was huge volumes, many in volumes that we haven't seen in a long time, with XRP? Well, a lot of it was actually traced to South Korea. That's correct. Exchanges in South Korea have been swelling with transaction values in XRP. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean people in South Korea are buying it or their government, but it means people using those South Korean owned and run exchanges are trading XRP as one of their favorite tokens. Now, I don't know exactly why that is, and some of the research that I'm doing, I will probably have answers for in some coming videos, but nonetheless, in recent weeks, South Korea and South Korean exchanges were some of the biggest bulls of what XRP's value could be in the near future. Now, of course, we do have the Ripple versus the SEC case, and I do believe it is going to be wrapping up very shortly. According to John Deaton, who is heavily involved in this case, he was talking about timelines. He's been recently talking about potential settlements. And from what I can tell, I wanted to comment specifically on the settlement issue because we've seen a lot of talk specifically on Twitter and other YouTube videos about a settlement or a settlement time frame. Well, why would the SEC settle? Well, because they know they're going to be losing this case. Why would Ripple settle? Well, Brad Garlinghouse, the CEO of Ripple, has already said there's going to be no settlement unless the SEC deems XRP a non-security digital asset. So what is going to be coming down the pike? Well, in my opinion, I don't think there is going to be a settlement. I've been talking about settlement for a long time on this channel, and I don't know that it's necessarily coming to a head, specifically because Ripple CEO Brad Garlinghouse's recent comments about the SEC chairman Gary Gensler and his overreach. His attempt to essentially say that the SEC is basically going to be the ones to regulate the cryptocurrency market, how he foresees everything as being a security, and his overreach is, well, it's beginning to get to ridiculous levels, so much so that a fintech company CEO that is worth billions of dollars has to let Congress know, listen, this guy that you have running the SEC is just overstepping his bounds. And in fact, it's not even close anymore. So if you take those comments, along with Gary Gensler's comments, attempting to assert that the SEC is in control of crypto and not the CFTC or anybody else, leads me to believe that the winners of this case want the losers in this case to be in an absolute bloodbath. That is my wholehearted opinion, and I don't believe settlement is coming down the case. You would color me shocked if there was a headline that came out and said that they are officially in settlement. Now, of course, anything can still happen. But based on the animosity that it seems that the SEC and the Ripple execs, or just any executives in the crypto space in general, have towards the SEC, I don't foresee a settlement coming. But let me know in the comment section down below what you guys think. So with Bitcoin hitting up against a $30,000 resistance level, and with XRP recently nearing 60 cents and climbing about 40% recently, there's going to be a lot of talk about bull markets and bear markets and case endings. Well, John Deaton has said, based on what Judge Torres has been doing and taking her time with this case, she's not up to any timeline. She's not beholden to any specific timeline. She can drop the decision on this case whenever she feels that it's ready. Now, somebody asked a question about insiders getting essentially knowledge about what she is going to decide before this is actually going to drop. So will the SEC and Ripple actually know beforehand what the judge is going to decide? Well, that's a good question, and according to John Deaton, he believes that nobody will have any previous information. In fact, the only people that will have information about what the judge is going to decide is her staff and her colleagues that help her do the research and formulate the decision. So there you go. According to John Deaton, there really isn't anybody that's going to know except for the insiders working with Judge Torres. And that's probably a very good thing. And now specifically looking at XRP's price and Bitcoin's price coming up against what's probably the ending of this case soon. It's interesting that Bitcoin has been against this $30,000 resistance level, which according to several technical analysts, one of which being Matthew Filan, and several others on Twitter, had said this is a critical resistance point for Bitcoin and the rest of the crypto space, because if Bitcoin can crack that $30,000 level and hold it, that, according to Matthew Filan, it's going to be a completely new ballgame. And there's others that have also echoed that sentiment, because $30,000 has acted like a Bitcoin support and resistance for the past several years. And if you follow technical analysis, typically, not always, but typically, when a price breaks through resistance level, well, it skyrockets at least to a certain degree and continues that momentum forward. Now, if we're looking at XRP getting its regulatory clarity at the same time that Bitcoin possibly breaks through, well, there is a ton of money and market share that could absolutely flow into XRP directly from the rest of the crypto space, meaning you could see a lot of red in the crypto space and a lot of green flowing into XRP and Bitcoin specifically. In my opinion, XRP is probably going to be in the top 5 in market value minimum as we head into the next bull run at some point in 2024. That's my belief, but let me know in the comment section down below what you think some of these price predictions are, some of the timelines more importantly are, what you think is going to happen to Bitcoin's price, XRP's price, and of course this regulation and the decision from Judge Torres that has yet to be handed down. If you want to have a conversation with me about it, you can always do so in the comment section. I have opened up the comment section to my YouTube videos several months ago. I turned them off because it was full of spam and scams and junk, and I already noticed it's back, unfortunately. You can also follow me on Twitter as I tweet out and retweet a lot of the information that I talk about on these videos. You can also follow me there. Link is down in the description below. All right, guys, I want to thank you so much for watching this video all the way to the end, for smashing that thumbs up button, and as always, I'll see you guys on the next video.